everyone.
Hello.
And welcome to Kirsty and Briony's Comfort Zone.
I am Kirsty.
And I am Briony, and we're going to be diving into each other's dreams and trying to work out what the heck is going on.
What is happening today?
I feel like I'm on my last dream of the little dream reservoir.
I'm on my last legs.
I've
had enough.
Final tether. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. So I've been having dreams, but I've just not been, and I swear, they're really good dreams. And I know that's really bad to say when I cannot share them at all. But I swear I wake up and I'm really invested to the point where I try and sleep a little bit longer to get into the dream.
Get more dream, yeah.
And then I forget them when I wake up the next time, which is really bad. There was one of them I mentioned to you the other day. I had a dream, and all I remember is that I had a friend called Sean, and Sean was really lovely. He was great. He was really funny. He was just a good guy. And I woke up and I was like, Sean doesn't exist.
Sean's not real.
And I'm sad. Because I woke up with that feeling of oh my gosh, I should tell Sean. I had a dream about him, and I was like, wait, who is Sean? I don't know him.
I don't think I've ever had one of those dreams. People have said before, they've had dreams where they find someone and get married and stuff like that,
Well, Rithian had one, didn't he? That
yeah.
He had
like a
life.
whole life. And then you wake up and it's oh, that was a dream. I've never had that. And honestly, It sounds pretty depressing. So I'm kind of glad.
It reminds me of, I am not one to reference Rick and Morty very often because I didn't really watch it and I wasn't really into what I did see. But there is one part of an episode that I do remember where they go to this arcade and Morty, I had to think which one was which, the little guy, he plays this arcade game that is I think it's someone's name. It's called John or something. And he basically lives this entire life in this virtual reality. And then all of a sudden, the headset gets taken off and he's just huh? And 5 minutes has gone by whilst he's been playing. But to him, it feels like he's lived this entire life that didn't exist. And it always just reminds me of that. I don't know why that one scene in that cartoon stuck with me, but it's the only thing I remember from everything I've seen.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet that scene is based on this kind of dream, honestly. Because it seems to be something that a lot of people tend to experience.
It's just so... I wonder what your brain is trying to tell you by making someone up. Because I don't feel like I'm lacking a Sean in my life. I don't feel like there's, I'm bad enough at doing social things as it is without throwing another person into the mix for me to disappoint in my life. So
did you and Sean get up to anything interesting? Were you hanging out?
All I remember is sitting in what was possibly a bowling alley waiting room or something. It was that sort of, those sort of bright coloured padded seats that you get whilst you're changing into your bowling shoes. It was that sort of place. But I don't remember bowling. I don't remember. It's just, I remember being there and having a giggle, just being ha, great, good one, Sean.
Good one, Sean.
Yeah, classic Sean. But I don't remember anything else. I sort of remember what he looked like, but other than that, just no. I've never felt
what did he look like?
He looked a bit like, this is going to mean nothing to anyone. He looked a bit like one of the builders who's doing some work on the neighbour's property at the moment. Am I right, everyone? Relatable content.
Relatable.
Just the standard, he's got a short beard and sort of blondish.
Okay.
And that was about it. But I just woke up with just a real fondness
for Sean.
And I specifically remember that it was Sean spelt with a W. Because Sean hates it when you spell his name wrong.
SHWN.
SHAWN.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I missed out the A.
Schwun. Oh, he hates when you miss the A out, does Sean?
Sorry, Sean.
And yeah, it's just so bizarre. But it's not like, I could imagine if you had a dream like that, if you were feeling particularly like, maybe you've just moved to a new place and you haven't made any friends yet or something like that. And your brain fills in the gap, but it just came out of nowhere. I was like, I don't really, it's just a weird one. A weird one.
How strange.
But yeah, a bit of a strange one. The dream that I did actually record, I have no memory of. So that one is a pure mystery. But yeah, just lots of like, do you know what? I mentioned the builders that have been doing work. It's been really, really noisy on my road recently. And I think that has been stopping me remembering dreams as well. Because
right. Yeah. Has it been like waking you up?
Yeah. But that sort of waking up where
it knocks you out of your dream.
In and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not like properly awake. But you're also just like, the sort of dream purgatory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just been swimming around in that.
Yeah. Oh,
speaking of purgatory,
yes,
as we often do, I went to a coven meeting the other day for Samhain, and I learned about the origins of like Halloween traditions. And there was a guy. So the things that we do on Halloween, what do? We dress up and
carve a pumpkin.
Go
trick-or-treating.
Carve a pumpkin and we go trick-or-treating. So those things, there's back in the pre-Christian days, people would do this thing called guising, which they would like make up fun little disguises and just be a little bit silly. And we got to do that at this coven thing. We made leaf masks, very Korok. It's giving Korok. Very Yahaha coded.
Yahaha maxing.
Yeah. And then we burned them all. We stood around the fire and we threw them into the fire. But that was good fun. But they would also do this thing where the well-to-do people would make these things called soul cakes. And they're basically like big biscuits, but like with raisins and stuff in and wintry spices. And you would have your nice ones that you made for yourself. And any that you thought were a bit like dodgy looking, as often is the case when you bake stuff, you would draw a cross in them. And those were for the poor. And the poor people would have to come around your house and they would sing a song, which we did actually sing. I don't know how accurate it was historically, but they would sing a song, and it was basically a song that would be to help souls leave purgatory. And then as a thank you, you would give them a soul cake. So the mixture of like dressing up and going door to door for treats has now become like trick-or-treating in funny outfits.
Wow.
Spooky outfits.
Spooky. That's cool.
And the other thing was, there was this guy called Stingy Jack. And he was a stingy, mean fellow. And he was so mean that the devil heard about him and was just like, I've got to go see this guy. He sounds rad.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, I love this guy. And he met Stingy Jack and he did a bet with him. And Stingy Jack won. And the devil was so angry that when Stingy Jack died, heaven were like, hell no. Like, well, they probably didn't say that. They were like,
no.
My heavens, no. No heavens for you. And the devil was still holding such a grudge that he was like, well, you're not coming in here. So he just wanders purgatory forever. And because he's so stingy, he just, instead of having a proper lantern, he just had a turnip lantern. Because we used to carve, I say turnip, it's a Swede, because Swedish turnips. So people call them turnip lanterns, but they're Swede lanterns. Yes. And yeah, because he's too stingy to buy a proper one. So he's just wandering purgatory forever with his turnip lantern. And I guess when it went to America, it became pumpkins because they were more readily available. Yeah. And yeah, so that's there cool. You go. All Hallows
that's
Eve.
So interesting.
I loved
Stingy Jack. What a
we
guy.
ate soul cakes and we chanted round a fire and we made incense from scratch.
Wow,
That
what'd
was
you make
good
it out of?
fun. So it's like all crushed up stuff. You have mallow root as your binder, and you have 1 tablespoon of that to 4 tablespoons of smelly things.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon balm, which the properties are meant to be good for anxiety, ran out the quickest because everyone anxious. And then the other things they put in were rosemary and sage. And there was also cinnamon there, but I don't really like cinnamon.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like cinnamon's always overpowering in like a candle or an incense.
Yeah. I put like a pinch of it in because the cinnamon said it was for like lust and love. And I was just like, well, I'll do a little sprinkle of that. That sounds nice.
Sexy.
But anxiety, mostly that. And sage for helping you be wisdomous.
Oh.
I'm going to be very wisdomous when I burn my incense.
Hell yeah. Oh, that sounds so nice.
Yeah.
You said that was the last one they're doing, right? They're not doing them anymore.
It is.
Oh, that's a shame.
So sad because they were just really nice events. And it's just sort of nice, like meeting up with a group of like strangers and doing crafts, and just like they made us like a nice tea.
Aww.
And they actually made a pumpkin spice latte that was
did
more...
you like it?
I liked it more than the ones I've tried from cafes. It had like a really nice front taste, and then all of a sudden the cinnamon was just like kicking the back of my throat, and I did not like that. But if I only focused on the initial taste, I liked it. But it had like actual pumpkin in, and it was really nice.
That's nice.
And then after we had done our chanting round the fire and burned our masks, we celebrated the darkness with they had made some blackberry whiskey.
Oh,
we all had
that
a little
sounds good.
bit of that. They had been fermenting or whatever you do for whiskey for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was good.
That sounds really lovely.
Yeah, we should do more
witchy stuff.
Witchy things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad I never got to go to one of those because we were going to do one last Halloween, but yeah, it did that one get cancelled?
Yeah.
It did, didn't it? Yeah.
I wonder if anyone else would take up the witchy mantle in
you'll
Bristol.
have to do it.
It is I shall rise from the bog to
live deliciously.
Yes. Maybe there's something in Hertfordshire like that as well.
There might be. I'll have to have a look. Any witchy
If there's
clubs?
any covens listening, if you would like to accept us in just for the holidays, that'd be nice.
Covenants for life, not just for Halloween.
They were describing like, so you have like the witchy calendar, which has 8 holidays or 8 event sort of thing. Because you've got the solstices, the equinoxes, and then the times in between all those 4. And they were saying how like Samhain is sort of the opposite of, I guess, would it be Beltane? That's the spring one, isn't it? And they were saying they're both sort of about like fey creatures and spirits, because I think those are the 2 times that the like veils between the worlds are the thinnest, which is why Halloween is all about like remembering spirits, the dead and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were saying that in the spring it's sort of in a sexy way, and then in Halloween it's sort of in a sexy-ish, but also don't get taken away by the fey sexy sort of way. Yeah. Just sort of 2 sides of the same sexy fey coin.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it a lot.
I just like the idea of doing crafts with like natural stuff as well. Like just playing around with leaves was good fun.
Mm.
And the last one I went to was playing around with reeds. Making Bridget's crosses out of leaves. That was nice.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the person? I think they have an Instagram, and I'm sure they popped up on like my Tumblr or something the other day. But there's someone online. I'll have to find their name, and they make and do photo shoots with little creatures that they make out of like acorns and twigs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
I see them
cool.
all the time. I love their stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. I'm sure I follow them on Instagram. But yeah, they do really lovely like photo shoots with just these little fey creatures that they make out of bits and pieces they find in the woods.
Yeah.
And they're so cool.
They make like little, like, they'll be holding out a plate that has like blueberries on, and then a squirrel will come along and take a blueberry and stuff. Yeah,
that's
it's really
it.
cute.
It's like wildlife photography, but with their little fey creatures.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
I wish I lived in a place that like backed onto the woods where I could take photos like that. Just have something set up where you just wait.
Yeah.
I could just go and lurk in the woods in Bristol, I guess.
You could, yeah. That's just one way to do it. Just go and hide in the woods and wait for something to show up.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of crafting, I've gone back into needle felting, and I'm kind of doing it now. So if anyone can hear, that's
oh
me.
Lord, she's stabbing.
That's me stabbing right now. But I did it because, and I think I said this to you maybe yesterday or the day before, but I had a bad-ish dream that just made me wake up in a bad mood. So yeah, it was yesterday. I was like, I'm in a bad mood now. This dream has just sort of made me get out of bed on the wrong side. Yeah. So I went to Hobbycraft and I was like, sod it. I'm just going to buy needle felting stuff. So now I'm just needle felting little bits, and I'm just like, this is nice. I'm taking out my aggression on this felt instead. It's
sounds good.
Much healthier. But I have brought the dream with me.
Oh.
It's quite a long one in terms of how much I wrote down. So I can try and speed through it. But yeah, it's certainly a time.
Yeah, no need to speed. We are entering the dark winter months of storytelling. So
oh my God,
you can take your time and amp up the tension. And
all right. Well, I can get the dream now. I'll go to me notes and I'll read it out for you. Again, I was saying to Briony before the recording started, I don't record voice notes anymore because the microphone on my phone is so bad. They've sent me a dodgy one and it just doesn't work properly. So I just tend to write them down. But as soon as I get a new phone or a dictaphone of some kind, then I'll start recording them again.
You should treat yourself to a dictaphone from the Patreon money.
Yeah, that's true.
Treat yourself.
That could be good.
And some cake.
Oh my gosh.
Also relevant to our working practice.
Yes, we need that. Okay, right. I have it ready. It's quite long, but I'll try and make it sound good. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I was waiting in a queue for food with people when the buffet tables around us were removed. We were told we had to wear these jumpers to mark us as not having had any food yet. They were pale yellow with rainbow accents around the wrists and the neck, and they had our names on. But mine had the wrong name on it. I can't remember what name was on my shirt, but it was just, I know it was wrong. It was just like, I think it was like a nickname, but it was just completely wrong. Next thing I know, we're all standing in a big field as if it was a school assembly. My old art teacher, Mr. Evans, who I've dreamt about before, he was there and he's talking to everyone and getting everything organised. I pipe up and I say, just so you guys know, just so you don't forget, my jumper has the wrong name on it. And he looked unimpressed, as if it's something that he'd already mentioned. And he just laughed at me. And then everyone else started laughing at me as well.
Oh.
The field behind Mr. Evans is full of old broken tents and stuff, as if it had been used for a festival and it had just been left. Suddenly, lots of horses begin running through this field and they start eating like all of the old guy ropes and leftover tents and stuff. Suddenly, a girl that I went to primary school was there. Her name is Emma. And we start walking through this field to leave. I don't know where we were meant to be going, but we're just making our way through this horrible field full of old manky tents. And it was very swampy as well, lots of mud. We go through this swamp And eventually we reached like a little wooden hut, which was in the way. And it was in the way in a very video game sense. Like our path sort of got to this and there was a gap going around it, but we couldn't go past it. We had to move it. So I went inside and there were a few people in there. And they were all just sort of sitting half submerged in the mud, just sort of hanging out. And I'm like, okay, this is strange, but I'll help you guys move your hut so that I can get past. So I went outside and I sort of squeezed around the side a bit and I lifted it up and onto a ledge. At which point, a lot of the bottom part of the hut just sort of crumbled, but everyone still seemed happy that it had been moved and we were able to get past. So that was good. Oh, apparently everyone laughed when the bottom of the hut fell off as well. So everyone's laughing. Everyone's laughing at me. Okay, so next, me and Emma are walking through another field. This one's a bit more of a normal field. It doesn't have all trash and everything in it, but it's still a bit muddy. And at this point, I realize I'm not wearing my shoes. I'm wearing slippers, like fluffy slippers, and they're getting all muddy. So we're walking down this dirt track in the middle of this field, and a police car drives past us. And I say, wow, it could have given us a bloody lift, only for it to stop a little way down the road to attend to a car accident. And I was like, oh, yikes. Eventually we get back to civilization. We're in some sort of city and I go to grab my things from some sort of building. And it turns out someone has taken my shoes, which I must have left here. And in my mind, they were yellow Converse and somebody's taken them. So I was like, now I've just got to stay in the muddy slippers. So I give up on those and I start heading home. And when I get home, my mum's waiting there for me. And she says that she's waiting for the hairdresser to arrive. So the hairdresser's doing a home visit for some reason. My friend goes for a shower and I go to make myself some dessert because I need some dessert after my big walk in a muddy field. And I go and I make so much dessert that I decide to split it into 3 so that me, my friend Emma and my mum can all have some together. So this dessert, what I remember, it was like a red sort of digestive biscuit sized ring of jelly, I guess. That's kind of what it looked like. Yeah. And then it was flat. And then it just had ice cream on it. And I think like maybe like a wafer of white chocolate, maybe.
Okay.
It looked quite pleasant. And I split it into 3 parts.
Can we make this for Somni Gastronomy?
Yeah. That's true. We could do that. Oh my God,
it down.
I just realized I jumped to food. Oh my God, I did it. Yay. But yeah, it was like a digestive biscuit size jelly. I'll draw a picture of it.
Nice.
Flat like a digestive. It had vanilla ice cream on it, or white ice cream of some description, and it had like a shard of white chocolate sticking out of it. And it was on a rectangular small plate to be what's the word, presented. So okay. I made 3 of them. I put it all on one big plate originally, and I was like, this is way too much. So I split into 3. And as I'm waiting for my mum and my friend, it's just melting, and I'm just like, great, well, where are they? So I go to look for my friend. Turns out she's still in the shower. I'm like, right, she's taking a while. And then I go into the kitchen to try and find my mum. And there are 2 people in there that I don't know. And the people, I'm like, have you guys seen my mum? And they're like, no. And I was like, all right. So I just left. The dessert completely melts. And I realize the people in the other room have broken in and are going to try and kill us.
Oh, no.
So I start looking for vents I can use to escape. And that was it.
Oh my gosh, what a turn from
that was the dream.
Dessert to escape.
Yeah.
Dessert to dessert.
Dessert to dessert. Oh my God. So yeah, that was the dream. And I woke up in a bit of a funny mood because of the bit at the beginning where everyone was laughing at me.
Aww.
Because I was just like, how dare they? That's so mean. And yeah, and not only that, but I also said to you the same night, not a part of the same dream, I also dreamt that I had 2 days off in a row. And then I got really stressed. Aww. And I was like, no, I need to work more. And I woke up like, oh no, I've taken too many days off. What day is it? So all in all, it was just a stressful night.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I ended up waking up and going and buying lots of crafting stuff.
As you should.
Yeah, which is quite a good solution, honestly.
To any dream.
To any
problem.
Yes.
I looked at various things whilst you were saying the dream. The first one I looked at was name, because they'd got your name wrong, which is an irritating thing and something that happens to the both of us.
All the time.
Yeah. And it says, our name is the first thing we are conscious of possessing. It is our sense of self and of belonging. If we hear our name called in a dream, our attention is being drawn specifically to the person we are. There is a suggestion that parents name their children so that the meaning of the name carries the biggest lesson that the child has to learn in life. Which is, it's like a curious thing. So, do you know what Kirsty means?
It's the Scottish variant of Christine, which is daughter of Christ.
Oh, okay.
Basically like Christopher or whatever.
Do you feel you have followed that?
No. I'm not religious, so no. I don't think it was on purpose, but Christine is my mum's name. It wasn't on purpose because we know how I came to be named. I was named Kirsty because my mum wanted to call me Kelsey and my dad kept forgetting and he just kept saying Kirsty. And in the end, my mum gave in. So technically my name isn't really my name at all, but it is because on my birth certificate I am Kirsty. He made the mistake before it was registered. So there we go.
It's one of those curious things that it's like, but then again, okay, I guess it is sort of similar to horoscopes, how if you name a child something, there's a 50-50 chance the name will be relevant or that it won't. For me,
what's the name of that again? When someone whose name is Baker becomes a baker.
Wait, is there a specific
there
name
is a
for
name
this?
for it, yeah. And I can't remember what it is.
I feel like I fit my name because it means to grow profusely. It comes from the Greek word for sprout or grow. And I feel like I've done that because I'm tall and I have long hair. So I feel like I've grown into my name as the years have gone on. But then I guess some people, I guess a lot of the time, it's that thing of like, do people suit their name or do you know that, like, do they suit it because that's what you know them by? So you're just used to it. Like Rithian was saying with you the other day, like if you had been called something else, would we just be like, well, of course you're this. You're not a Kirsty. You're a, I can't remember what I was saying. Was it like Kaylee or something? But yeah.
Well,
we were talking about it on Stardew the other day. There was some
I think
name.
It was Kelsey because that was my name.
Oh, Kelsey. There's one, yeah. But yeah, it is an odd one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a name for it where like if you have like if your surname is Baker, it's like if you then grow up to become a baker, there's a term for it, but I don't know what it is.
Prophecy.
It's something like that. It's kind of like, it's one of those things like in the English language, like pathetic fallacy, like when is that when it's sad and it's raining in a story, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, I think.
Okay.
But I could be completely making that up, but I'm sure
I think Turner
there is a name for it.
Comes from Tanner, and I don't think I'm going to become a tanner anytime soon, so I should not be. But then again, that's not my name. That is my adopted name, not my real birth name.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe. I also looked up, what else did I look up? I looked up laughing, because there was a lot of laughter in the dream.
There was.
Kind.
It wasn't nice laughter.
It says, being laughed at in dreams suggests we may have a fear of being ridiculed or may have done something which we feel is not appropriate. We may find ourselves embarrassing. It can also be seen as a sign of rejection.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, see, I as soon as I had this dream, I think I knew what it was about. And the name thing and the sense of belonging kind of rings true as well. So basically, we've got Jingle Jam coming up, and I've recently booked my hotel for it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I find that when I go to Bristol for like these events, I have a great time like hanging out in the office and stuff. But I find that when I go back to like my hotel, I end up just feeling really lonely.
Yeah.
And having booked this hotel now and knowing that quite a few of our friends probably aren't going to make it to Jingle Jam or don't have plans to come down, I think that fear is there at the moment. As soon as I had that dream, I was just like, yeah, I know what this is about. I know it's because I'm going to find myself going to Bristol. And I think it's a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy as well, because it's like, in that case, I could just get out of the room and go and hang out with people. But then that's where the laughter comes in, because I'm very self-conscious that I'm forcing myself into these social situations where maybe other people don't want me to be there, which isn't the case, probably. Yeah. But but my brain is like, oh, they, why are you imposing yourself on these people, So it's just a big event. And I've got social anxiety about it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I think that's more or less what I think the dream is about.
So is it like a sort of like imposter syndrome mixed with FOMO type thing? Like a
I think
blend of the two?
I think so. I think absolutely imposter syndrome. I think it's just like, is trepidation the right word? Is trepidation good? Is that a positive or a negative? Trepidation.
I guess it depends if
you're... The feeling of fear or anxiety about something that may happen. There you go. It's exactly that word. It's trepidation for Jingle Jam. And just I love the event, but I'm like, oh, I might not be able to see a lot of my friends while I'm there, or I might get really burnt out, or I might get sick, or I, blah, 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 blah. It's just the brain firing all of these like worst case scenarios, and then you just end up being like, well, I'm going to have a terrible time.
Aww.
Because it's just a lot to take on, I guess. It's, it's a busy time.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to have a great time, but also I know I'll probably have an evening, because I'm there for like a week, where I'll go back to the hotel and I'll be like, I want to be at home.
Yeah. It's weird. Like when Alex and I went on holiday to Cornwall like a few months ago, and we both just had this night where we were having a lovely time. We were staying in a lovely place. It was really nice. And for some reason, we both just had this night when we were away, when we just thought, we just want to go home. And we just could not place why. There was nothing wrong at all. Like we'd had a nice day, a nice meal, beautiful views, the weather had been nice, and we just had this feeling of like, I could just pack up and go home now. And the next day, both absolutely fine. But it's just so weird how your brain can just be like, something's off, I don't know what, I just want to be back in my space.
Exactly. And I know that I always feel that at some stage. So I think my brain's just like preparing me for it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that, because I also looked up mud. And it says, mud in a dream suggests that we are feeling bogged down, perhaps by not having sorted out practically and emotion. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Perhaps by not having sorted out practicality and emotion. But this is the relevant bit. Mud can also represent past experiences or a perception of them which has the ability to hold us back.
Oh my God.
So you walking through all that mud was like your brain being like, are you sure you want to go? Let's just stay here, sort of thing.
Yeah.
There you go. My gosh.
Bloody hell.
Brain. Also, you said it was quite swampy, and similarly it says, a swamp in a dream symbolizes feelings which can undermine our confidence and well-being.
Yep. Jeez. My brain, I have no dreams, and then it comes out with an absolute banger. Well done. Good job. I mean, yeah, all of this stuff is absolutely accurate. Because, yeah, all it really boils down to is just being anxious about it and just being like, oh, you know, a lot of my friends might not be there and I'm going to miss them and they'll be sad. And yeah, and it's just, but I don't want to be like, well, I'm going to have a terrible time. No, I'm going to have a great time. It's going to be lovely. Like, I fucking love Jingle Jam. But there's always, because of the sheer amount of work that you're doing and the burnout you inevitably suffer, I know that I'll also feel all these stressful feelings too.
I think there's also like that sense of just like, I'm trying to think how to put this into words because I'm not very articulate with it. But when it feels like you're trying to, like a moment is too big to capture and you're more trying to take it all in than just actually pausing to take it in, if that makes sense. Like you're just trying too hard to be like, I want to see everyone and I want to do everything and I want to, and because of that, you're constantly like mentally bouncing between things instead of actually being like, I will just enjoy this thing that I am doing. Because I get that a lot where I'm like, oh, people are going here, but you're going there, and I want to do everything all at once with everyone. It's just like, yeah, I feel like when you get a dog that's just running around really overexcited and not actually like, it's just like, okay, just calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the butt wiggles are too much. You just can't contain it anymore. I also looked up tent because you said there were tents.
Oh, yeah.
And it says, a tent in a dream would suggest that we feel we are on the move and not able to settle down and put down roots. Anywhere we settle is only going to be temporary, which I guess makes sense for you, like traveling and staying somewhere temporary.
What about the horses eating the tents?
Oh, I guess horses will be under animals. We must have. I swear we've looked up horses so many times, but I always forget.
Yeah, I feel like we have as well.
Oh, unicorn is in there.
Oh.
Fancy horses. Jackal, hyena. Horse. The horse in dream represents the energy at the dreamer's disposal. There are so many different things for horse. Do you remember the colour of the horse?
Not really. The first thing that comes to mind is brown.
A brown horse is the more pragmatic and down-to-earth horse. So there you go.
What the fuck?
That's a serious horse, the brown horse.
That's a serious horse. Ah, yes, the brown horse, the down-to-earth horse.
It also has, in a woman's dream being kicked by a horse. Is it different? Is it difficult? Is it different if a horse kicks a man or a woman?
Hang on, keep reading. It's probably about penis.
It may indicate her relationship with a man. There you go.
Wonderful.
Oh, I like this one. A horse that can get through any door and batter down all obstacles. In the collective shadow, those aspects of the personality which the most people attempt to suppress. You're not suppressing my dream horse. He can kick down all the obstacles he wants.
Well, these horses were dealing with a lot of obstacles. They were eating so many tents.
Well, there you go. Don't let people suppress your horses. That's what I say.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think we've nailed this dream. I mean, firstly, you already knew what it meant, but also the book was strangely accurate on all of the subjects.
Well done, book.
Apart from the horse.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I too have brought forth a dream to the dream table for eating.
Analysis for eating.
The little dream.
Eat it like a horse eats a tent.
Yes. With gay abandon. We never had any horses eating our tents.
No, we didn't. At least we had a cow friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad the cow didn't eat the tent.
Yeah. Although maybe a cow would be better at stomaching a tent than a horse.
Yeah, I feel like a horse would just get blocked up.
Yeah. I have no memory of this dream. How long is it? It is 3 minutes exactly. Wow.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
what good timing.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I had a dream that I was at not really an airport, but there were just planes everywhere. There was like, I don't really remember what was really happening. I just remember there were planes taking off all the time. There were rainbows on the horizon. Like I was high up and I was looking over at this city and I saw this rainbow and I was like, oh my gosh, I can see like half of the rainbow. That's so cool. And then the more I walked around, the more I would just be like, there's 3 rainbows on the horizon. I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a 4th, there's a 5th. And they were getting like really big and like chunky rainbows. Almost looked as if they'd been drawn with chalk. They had that sort of quality to them. And the other thing I remember is the first rainbow I saw was next to this tree, and it was like full of bees. I remember there being a bee that came near me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, just stay calm, because I don't know what it is, but I remember hearing the buzzing. And then as I was walking away, I saw this bee that was so beautiful. They were like, their front half was like a normal bee, but then they sort of tailed off into this like blossom pink, and they had this, like, it was like they'd been dipped in blossom, and they just, I think in my head I called them like a rosy bee or something. They were just so cute. And then I was walking away and I was going to see my mum, I think, and we were going down to, like, walking down this, I guess, just like a long stretch of road, or maybe we're in like a buggy or something going down this road with other people, I don't remember, and watching all these flights. And as the planes were going through clouds, because they're all really low, they would be like turning the clouds blue and stuff. Like they had those, like when planes get the little colours coming out the back, they would all be like turning the clouds blue and stuff. And the only other thing I remember is that so many of the planes were just being loaded up with, it was people with those like clothes rails on wheels, and it was just specific planes just to take one clothes rail and one person, and they were like really like a plane, but someone had cut out the middle section and just stuck the ends together. They were really like snubby, but yeah, that's all I remember. Good. Bye. There you go.
Lovely.
Snubby planes.
Snubby planes
For
and
clothes
bees.
rails. And a rosy bee.
A rosy bee.
I sounded so happy to talk about that bee.
Don't blame you. Love a bee.
A lovely bee.
A lovely bee.
Did you get any pink bees?
What, in real life?
Yeah. Are all bees yellow and black? Did you get bee varieties? Variety bees.
Bee. There is a picture of a... Hang on. No, I think the pictures I can see are either photoshopped or the bee is covered in pollen.
Oh.
Sometimes they get covered in pink pollen, which is very cute.
Oh.
But I think for the most part, they be yellow.
Okay.
They be yellow.
Be yellow. I looked up aeroplane, as that was a big feature, and it says dreams of aeroplanes can represent sudden or dramatic life changes. An aeroplane taking off represents a leap into the unknown and taking risks. An aeroplane landing indicates the success of a new venture or the outcome of a calculated risk. An aeroplane denotes a search for psychological freedom, a move towards independent being.
Being.
They do say that bees are the planes of the insect world. Don't they say that planes learned how to fly from bees? What is it they say about bees and planes? Don't they say something about how bees shouldn't be able
I think bees
to
taught
fly?
planes how to fly. I think that might be a myth that bees shouldn't be able to fly.
But also planes shouldn't. But if bees can, bees flew so that planes could fly.
Run. Fly.
I think that's the saying.
I don't know who's saying that, but
Everyone will be now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get t-shirts printed.
Bees flew so that planes could fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get it. It's the merch. Lock it in.
Comfort zone on the back. Well, it's like how I was saying the other day how wasps helped invent paper. Maybe bees helped invent planes.
Yeah, they helped. They helped draw up the schematics.
Because maybe who is it? Is it the Wright brothers? They watched birds and they were like,
Maybe they were
yeah,
bees.
but that's birds. And then they saw bees and they're like, well, if they can do it, I believe. Or they were just bees in lots of bees in a trench coat.
Yeah, just a swarm.
It's my favourite quote from the Wright brothers is just
No one could ever really make sense of it, but you know what? I think we've cracked it.
yeah. Oh, bees must be in my book. It's full of bees. As a symbol of something to be feared, as well as tamed and used. The meaning of bees in dreams can be ambivalent. That's your job, book.
You're meant to tell us the meaning.
To dream of a queen bee registers our need to feel or be superior in some way. We may possibly feel the need to be served.
To be
served in our chosen purpose by others. Be others. We are also aware of the need for hard work in industry. The bee symbolizes immortality, rebirth, and order. None of these. I've not done any big changes recently. I've not been a bee. I don't want to be served. So I feel like this dream is nonsense thus far. I don't want to be a bee. I do think sometimes, you know, if people say like, what is your hill to die on, your sword to fall on? What is like one thing you are adamant about?
Uh-huh.
Mine is that the bee movie should have been a lesbian love story because most bees are female.
Sorry. Lesbi.
LGBT. Because the vast majority of bees that we see are lady bees.
Yeah.
Because I was pausing because I was wondering if you were going to be like ladies bees on your face.
Thank you for pausing for that. Thank you for considering me there.
Bees nuts.
Bees nuts?
Because most male bees are literally just little himbo bees, that are just there to gadonk the queen.
Like,
yeah, they're just
ants.
drone bees, and the queen will just summon the boy to her room and be like,
"Bring forth the boy!
Bring me a himbo," and then they baby. That is it. And then all of the ones that you see going out and working hard for a living, doing the flower stuff, they're all ladies. So therefore,
Ladies,
bee movie should have been more gay. Thank you. This is my
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
My TED Talk on bees. And it really bothers me that Jerry Seinfeld was given that role because it should not have been him. Thank you. And I will defend this point of view more than I should.
Oh my
What
god.
was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I also looked up rainbows.
Okay.
Because they also featured quite prominently.
Maybe this stream was just about your thoughts on the Bee movie.
Maybe.
Maybe.
A rainbow appearing in a dream is the promise of something better to come. The old story of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is so firmly entrenched in folklore that this meaning often comes across in dreams. Well, okay. It also says it represents spiritual glory and helps me. Wait, that is available to the dreamer through understanding and learning. Oh, learning.
Learning.
No.
Gross.
I have absolutely no idea. This dream baffles me. The only thing that I can think of is I have been helping to... I've not been helpful at all. I've been meant to be helpful in planning a hen do for a friend. Yeah. And I hate flying and she wants to go abroad and I don't want to fly. So I think I've just been panicking about the idea of being on a plane.
Yeah.
And also I like bees. So maybe. I was looking at a lot of pictures of moths recently because I like to look at pictures of moths.
That's fair, yeah.
Because I really like the ones, what are they called? The rhubarb and custard moths.
Oh, yeah.
I love those.
They're very pretty.
So it might just be that, because the rhubarb and custard, what are they called? Like rosy something moths, I can't remember. But it was that sort of thing, but a bee. So maybe that was just...
You say about this hen do thing and with bees and what was it? Like you want people to be subservient to you? Is that what it was? Bees?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
just shut up and do what I say.
Yeah, maybe for this hen do thing, it's just sort of a case of like, no, just listen to me, please.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
What if, hear me out, we watched a film that I have seen hundreds of times and ate snacks? How about that? And we do it in our own houses.
Separate.
Yeah.
I'm staying at home.
Yes.
I'm not coming.
I will not be coming.
I will not be attending.
I will not be there. Thank you. And good day. Oh my gosh, we should have... Okay, next merch, we're going to have a series of bee postcards that people just use to reject invitations.
I'm on board with this. I would be happy to draw many bees. Oh my god.
Dear oh dear. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is that I'm scared of planes.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty accurate, to be honest. How come, have you just always been scared of planes? Is that just a thing?
Yeah, I didn't even get on a plane until I was like 22.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, did you ever fly when you were younger?
No, and when I did get on a plane, everyone was like, you'll be fine once you've taken off. Like, taking off is scary, but you'll settle into it. And I was like, I maintained a firm level of panic the entire journey. And the night before, I was literally like recording video messages that were like, if you see this, I have died. Because I was that terrified of what was going to happen. And it was like an hour flight to Norway, I think. I've only ever flown to two places and I can't remember what order it was in, but I think it was Norway. And yeah, it got to the point where the person next to me, I kept on, every time anything happened, I was grabbing their arm. And they just said to me, they were like, how about I'll tell you if something's wrong. And you leave me alone until then. I was like, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I hate it so much. I was talking to Lydia about this the other day because she went on one of those like fear of flying courses.
Oh, okay.
And I looked into it and I was like, that would be really good because it would be nice to be able to fly places, I guess. But they're quite expensive. And also now I can use the excuse of I'm being environmentally friendly by not flying. My fear wins. And I will happily get the train across the sea.
Oh. I love flying. But I did it from a younger age.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of just grew up with it and I didn't mind so much.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was like 16 or something, and I said to a friend that I think he was flying out to Mexico. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared of flying. I could not do that. And he said to me, if it makes you feel any better, by the time you hit the floor, you would already be dead. I was like, that does not comfort me.
That does not help.
At all. But thank you for trying.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's just everything about it is just like scary. But I can also understand, like Alex loves flying. He went to San Francisco, which is like a 7-hour flight or whatever. And that's the other thing. If I know someone else that I love and care about is on a plane, I get just as nervous. Like
I can imagine.
Can't like rest until I know that they are off the plane. To the point where my family just hide that they're getting planes from me now. I'll just get a message being like, just got back from Germany. And I'm like, oh, what? Excuse me, what? Like,
How
flight was
dare
fine.
you?
I'm like, excuse me, you have ridded me of my anxiety. Give it back. But I would love to go to Hamburg, which is why I'm learning German on Duolingo. And,
Yeah.
I am very happy to get the train there because I feel like it could be a nice journey. A very long...
Yeah, I'd love to get a train like into Europe, like mainland Europe, and, you know, just enjoy the trip. But I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, and you can
That's
get
something
those
I've never
rail
really done.
passes as well, which are like super cheap compared to our trains. Like a month's worth of travel in Europe is the same as going to London
Fucking
for
tell
a
me
day.
about it. Jeez.
Because I looked
My
at how
God.
much it would cost for me to get to Hamburg, and it was the most expensive part of the journey was genuinely Bristol to London. Everything else was fine.
That's insane.
I know.
That is insane. It's like the guy who, like, instead of getting a train to London or whatever, he flew to Spain and then flew back to a different airport, and it was cheaper than getting the train. It's just like, it's insanity.
Yeah.
Absolute insanity.
But I would like to go to London, get the Eurostar, and then travel up to Hamburg via places. And then maybe pop up to Copenhagen, maybe pop over to Malmö, and then maybe come back via the Netherlands, Mayhoms, do a big round trip and visit all the places I want to see, namely all the places that have model villages or railways in Europe. That's my main points to hit.
But listen, if you're on a plane, right, and you look down out of the window, it's like looking at a giant model village.
Oh my gosh, the whole world could be my model village.
Yeah.
Well, now you
Just
put it like
pretend
that.
You're looking out at a big model village and it's all fine.
That does sound a whole lot less scary. I told you, did I tell you about the last time I got on a plane and I was still, so I think this was when I was coming back from Ireland, and I said to the lady next to me that I was nervous, and she held my hand.
Aww.
And I just thought like, oh, that's cute. She's just giving my hand a little squeeze and then she'll let go. But she held it for the entire flight. And the awkwardness of that did actually overwrite the anxiety of the plane journey.
She knew what she was doing.
Because I spent the whole journey just being like, surely she'll let go now.
She was probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah, just a flashback to it's actually me death gripping on this woman's hand. Never let go.
Oh my gosh. It's like the time, remember when I was flying back from Sweden and I ended up playing Mario Party with a random man.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was playing Final Fantasy on my iPad and he was like, oh, are you a gamer? And I was like, yeah. And then we just started talking about games and he didn't really play many games. He was like, oh, I played games when I was a kid. He was like our age.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have my Switch, and I don't know why. But in that moment, I was like, I have a Switch. Do you want to play a game?
Oh.
And he was like, yeah. And he was really bad at it because he'd never played before. But yeah, we had a game of Mario Party. And I was like, why did I do that?
Oh my god. That's so cute though. It's reminded me of there's like horror movies. Is it Saw where Jigsaw's like, do you want to play a game? Just pulls out Mario Party.
That was me.
Oh, this is much better. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. But then, oh dear. Oh my gosh.
That feels very like old school holiday making friends.
Yeah, it kind of was. I just remembered though, I'm sure towards the end, he was like, oh, are you off to visit your boyfriend? And I was like, oh no. All right, okay. I've made a terrible mistake.
Oh my gosh. You get your little Joy-Con back and it's got a number written on the back of it.
No. Oh dear. It was nice though. It made the flight go quicker. Bless him.
Well, that is our dreams for this week.
Yeah,
I feel like we had a
real
lot
quick
more
this week. We had
success
yeah.
with your dream than with my nonsense.
Well, that's right. I came here pre-prepared with a solution for my dream. So
yeah, I did not do my homework. I just like bees.
Love bees.
Yeah. Bless them. Well, thank you, Kirsty, for a lovely chat.
Thank you, Briony.
And
thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you to all our human and pigeon listeners and whoever else.
Pigeon listener.
We do. Whoever else might be listening. Please, if any of your lovely furred, scaled or feathered friends like listening to Comfort Zone, please do let us know.
Please send pictures.
It brings us so much joy.
It does.
And
Shout
also
out to Nigel.
Yeah. We like all of you lot as well, of course, but you know.
But especially Nigel.
And until next time, everyone, bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.